Why is this taking place? The Euphrates, which originates in Turkey and runs through Syria and Iraq, is one of the most significant rivers in the world. This extensive river has supplied the region with water for more than 10,000 years. However, this ancient river is currently drying up due to terrifying circumstances, sending millions of people into an unprecedented drought. Under this dry riverbed, bizarre, and even ancient finds have been made. As a result of the Euphrates River's extremely low water level, 5 million people would not have access to potable water. What implications does this have for humanity's future? Is the Euphrates waterway evaporating in light of the fact that the predictions of disclosure are going to work out as expected? Or is there something else we should be aware of? Join us as we look into the terrifying discovery that has scientists scared under the Euphrates River. The Euphrates River has a significant place in human history. The banks of huge rivers like the Euphrates and Tigris were where ancient Mesopotamian civilization developed. When men first started farming and other agricultural activities, which later spread to other parts of the world, a reliable supply of pure water came from the Euphrates. Because biblical sources claim that the Euphrates was one of the 4 rivers that flowed from the Garden of Eden, it was one of the first rivers mentioned in the Bible. Important events like wars and invasions, which affected how people and power were distributed in most of Asia and North Africa. Due to centuries of flooding from the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, the southern lowlands of what is now Iraq had the richest soil in the Near East. It is believed that the longest river in Asia is 1740 miles long. Prior to entering the Persian Gulf, from Turkey, the river flows through Syria and Iraq. However, Iraq's neighbor Turkey's stringent water policies, a 2-year drought, and years of mistreatment by Iraq's farmers put the Euphrates River in jeopardy. Additionally, the river is much smaller than it was a few years ago. The Good Book additionally has 2 sections that predicts the Euphrates waterway will ultimately dry up. Babylon's smart men and leaders, as well as its fictitious prophets, soldiers, horses, chariots, and riches, are brought to God's wrath, frantic with fear. Babylon gets its water from the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, according to Jeremiah 50:38. Is Jeremiah's prophecy coming to pass because both rivers are currently drying up? These prophecies most likely came to pass through military action when Cyrus, the Persian king, attacked Babylon in 539 BCE. The prophecy will come to pass during the Great Tribulation, which is the 6th bowl judgment of Revelation 16. Herodotus, a Greek historian, says that Cyrus was able to divert enough of the water from the Euphrates to allow his army to enter the city through the channels below the walls. The evaporating of the Euphrates stream has likewise revealed a cavern and other old vestiges. Individuals have found caves and caverns with strange shapes that are not regular of any caverns that a human could have constructed. Surprisingly, some of these caves resemble jail bars used to confine someone or something. Archaeologists and, surprisingly, normal society have recorded different shocking sounds coming from the beginning expansion to the peculiarly formed caves. The sounds, according to some, are groans and cries of agony that will make your skin crawl and give you nightmares. Grunts and groans have been recorded by people. Some have even claimed to have heard sounds resembling chains moving beneath the earth. Some people think that the eroding riverbed is a sign that Bible prophecies about the end of the world are true. Has anyone tracked down the 4 fallen angels who are stranded beneath the Euphrates River? In Revelation 9, the scorpion-like beast that is ejected from earth makes sounds. Although religious authorities have asserted that this is the fulfillment of a biblical prophecy, a significant amount of really evaporating, does that mean fallen holy messengers will before long seem to eradicate 1/3 of mankind? The strange tunnel beneath the river, which may be home to the fallen angels mentioned in the Bible, is agreed upon by all. Even though numerous individuals have questioned whether the sounds coming from the pits are real, who exactly are the fallen angels held captive below the Euphrates? The identity of the angels who resided beneath the Euphrates is revealed in Revelation 12:79. As per the Holy Book, then, at that point, war broke out in paradise. The dragon and Michael's angels fought back, as did the dragon and Michael's angels. They were denied entry into heaven because he lacked the strength they needed. The ancient serpent known as the devil or Satan, who leads the entire world astray, was hurled down the great dragon. His angels were also transported to the surface of the earth. The 4 angels under the Euphrates are among the fallen angels, who were thrown down with Satan in accordance with Revelation 9. When you read Luke chapter 10, verse 17, Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 to 9, and Jude chapter 1, verse 6, you can see that some of the fallen angels, who were among the third of the angels chosen by the devil, were not permitted to roam freely on the earth like the other angels. Instead, they were chained or bound until the appointed time. Because these fallen angels were likely violent and could have endangered humanity's survival, God had to confine them. The 4 Euphrates angels are easy to identify among the chained angels. They will be expelled from the Euphrates, as stated in chapter 9 of Revelation, to carry out biblical prophecies that call for the slaying of. More questions than answers have been provided by these inquiries. However, one thing that cannot be denied is the fact that the Euphrates River basin is in danger of becoming a desert. This would cause a decrease in the amount of precipitation that falls annually and cause the river to dry up, eradicating approximately 40% of the area. In any case, for what reason is the stream evaporating based on science? Despite the complexity of the issue, a water crisis that threatens the livelihoods of millions of people in the region is caused by factors such as violence, the construction of arbitrary dams, and climate change. According to studies conducted by the Water Ministry, the Euphrates and Tigris rivers in Iraq would dry up in 20 years if nothing was done. Sadly, these 2 rivers account for close to 98% of Iraq's surface water supply. It's possible that rivers will disappear from Iraq by a not-for-profit bunch that conducts environment research in California. Since the late 1800s, the world has warmed by an average of 1.3 degrees Celsius, but Iraq warmed by a startling 2.5 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, the human cause of the Euphrates problem begins in eastern Turkey, below the Taurus Mountains, more than 1,000 kilometers upstream. For quite a long time, the Turkish government has been developing dams to extend farming regions and give power. On the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a $32 billion project to construct 22 dams and 19 hydroelectric plants will eventually supply 1/4 of Turkey's electrical requirements. By 1990, both the Ataturk Dam and the Kaban Dam on the upper Euphrates had been completed. Syria likewise built a couple of different dams on the Euphrates and its feeders before the Naka Dam upstream from Rucker. Since the Turkish and Syrian dams were built in the 1970s, almost 2/3 less water has been entering Iraq. For decades, Iraqis and their neighbors have disagreed about who gets their fair share of the water. When Turkey and Syria diverted the Euphrates River into a series of reservoirs, effectively draining out the rivers in Iraq downstream, the conflict was about to escalate. The Iraqi government constructed a system of canals to connect the Euphrates River to Lake Alfalfa, northwest of Baghdad. The Euphrates River will only be 1/3 of its original capacity by 2035. The Iraqi ministry claims that if the Tigris water disappears, Iraq won't be able to meet 80% of its annual requirement of 53 million cubic meters. In addition, other than India, the Tigris and Euphrates lose groundwater the quickest. Based on a recent satellite study, already feeling the effects of the Euphrates drying up, as stated by the World Resources Institute, a non-profit environmental organization with its headquarters in the United States. Relief organizations asserted that the current water crisis in Iraq is already threatening the lives of at least 10 million people and making it harder to get food and energy. Wheat production in the northwest of Iraq could decrease by as much as 70%. To alleviate the situation, the irrigation system would need to be completely rebuilt, which could cost anywhere from $60 billion to $80 billion, money that the struggling nation simply does not have, indicating that starvation is imminent. Additionally, as dams break down, less electricity is available, which has an effect on hospitals and other essential infrastructure's operation. Do you believe that the Bible's prophecies are being fulfilled right now? Or on the other hand, do you suppose what is going on is the result of neighborhood governmental issues and environmental? Please let us know in the section below. Thank you for watching another Voyager episode, as long as you're still here. For more mind-blowing videos about space, be sure to click the video on your screen. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way, you'll be the first to know when I upload something new.